Welcome to episode 85 in our series on Rabbi Bachya Ibn Pakuda's Duties of the Heart, and we're coming to the end of this magnificent chapter 3 in the Gate of Self-Accounting with its 30 examples of self-accounting. We're up to number 28. I think we're going to do number 28 and 29 in this episode, and we're going to talk about in 28 how we should contemplate our levels of trust and how we should try and have complete confidence in God. So Rabbi Bahya begins. When a person has come to trust in God, entrusting to Him his life, his property, his children, and his every situation, and then his condition changes, and the Creator decrees what is not agreeable to him, he should make an accounting with himself as follows. Suppose a man gave his friend a house or a field as a gift, and then his friend decided to demolish it and rebuild it in a different way, or to change it from its original condition. Would it be right for the giver to become aggrieved and concerned at the actions of his friend vis-à-vis the house of a house or a field, and at the changes he wrought in its condition, after he had already given it to him? The same applies to you, my brother. Having entrusted your life and property to God, do not be aggrieved when He acts with you as He wills and governs you as He wishes, even if, on the surface, it does not seem to be good for you. Rather, you should have confidence in Him and rely on His perfect guidance and judgment. Do not regret that you gave Him what to your mind was yours, and do not be sorrowful when His judgment is executed upon you, especially since you are one of His creatures and He is your Creator and Provider, who guides you in accordance with what is good for you in your outer and inner life. Though this matter is hidden from you, as it says from Hosea 11:3, it was I who accustomed Ephraim to be taken up in his arms, and they did not know that I had healed them. So Rabbi Bahya is quoting from Hosea, where God is describing the Bnei Israel, that when he took them out of Egypt, and they were, before leaving Egypt, they were still giving sacrifices to Baal, their idols, and they were giving incense to graven images, and that through Ephraim he healed them, and they did not know. And this is sometimes what we see in life, is where God works in mysterious ways, and He sees the big picture for you. And when you are disappointed by changes and conditions in your life change, either financially or emotionally, with your family, or something happens to you, sometimes you don't understand why these things are happening, but they set you on a better course. And only once, like I've said in a previous episode, only upon reflection, which is one of our duties, do we see the bigger picture. But God sees the bigger picture before you've even thought about, what's going on in your life. So Rabbi Bahya is telling us not to regret what God has done to you in any way. Don't regret the paths that you've taken that have taken you. Sometimes you feel you're on the right path, that you're doing all the right work for God, and you are disappointed because something bad has happened. But it doesn't always. God always works for the best of you. It's not in His interest to make you suffer. But the suffering is when you're changing lanes, so to speak, to put you in a better lane. Sometimes you don't realize why you're suddenly jerked from one side to the other, like when you're switching lanes. But it's to put you in a better lane. And I actually heard something wonderful, a beautiful saying this week by someone, a philosopher, who said, I thought that I was being buried, but what I didn't realize is that God was planting me. And that was a beautiful, beautiful analogy for this 28th segment of self-accounting. When you feel that God is burying you, don't feel that way. Think that He is planting you to become, to bloom into something incredible. And now we're going to continue with number 29. This describes how we should contemplate the superiority of our supernal essence, which is our soul, the segment of our being that God has planted within us. Or rather, our body surrounds this soul. We should realize that it's like we should be led by our soul. Our ultimate aim is to be led by our soul. A lot of people say, follow your soul, or follow this. You should be led, you should allow your soul, your neshama, to lead you. Your neshama is like your guardian angel in some respects, and you want it to lead you. It'll take you to exactly where you should be going. If you allow it, if you recognize it, if you work on yourself enough, it'll reveal itself to you and will take you and guide you through life. Sometimes through difficult difficult times and in a difficult manner, but it's always for the best of you. It's always going to make you better. So Rabbi Bahya begins, 29. A person should contemplate the superiority of his soul over his body. He should recognize the superiority of some people over others, such as that one individual may be worth 1,000, and he should realize that this superiority stems not from the person's physical powers, but from the virtues of his soul. As King David was told in Shmuel chapter 18 verse 3, but now you are worth 10,000 of us. Even if a woman is superior in her physical beauty, if spiritual graces are lacking, then her beauty has no grace and her charm turns repulsive. As King Solomon said in Proverbs 11:22, like a ring of gold in the snout of a pig is a beautiful woman who has no sense. And also from Proverbs 31:30, charm is deceiving and beauty is vain. The woman who fears God is the one to be praised. I think that is from H.S. Chayil. In keeping with your understanding of the superiority of your soul over your body, you should endeavor to promote your soul's welfare and its salvation before its master, who observes its brightness and darkness, its praiseworthiness and blameworthiness, its choice of good or evil, its inclination to reason or to passion. So Rabbi Bahya is urging us to purify our souls. Our souls are given by God, and they are a part of God, and they must be returned to God in as good a condition as possible. So Rabbi Bahya is teaching us how to purify the soul, and this, I believe this is done through the three actions of learning Torah, service to God, which can be service of the limbs as well as the heart, and gemilot chasadim, which are acts of kindness, which should not be underestimated as a purifying agent to your soul and something that will raise your soul within you. You've got to charge it. You've got to supercharge your soul by acting in an ethical manner, doing things for other people and doing things for God. And then you will find that this kind of supernal light, as some rabbis say, kind of builds up in your body over time, and you actually feel it. You feel your soul in a very profound way. And Rabbi Bahya is telling us that you have to work on this to make it happen. It doesn't happen by fluke or by chance or just on the happenstance. It has to be worked upon and built up within yourself. And you can also degrade it doing the opposite, the converse. You degrade your body. When you degrade your body and you do debased things, you extinguish this internal light that you've worked so hard to build up. But in the correct processes of, repentance and genuine remorse, you can rebuild those lights. And Rabbi Bahya concludes this section. He says, therefore, constantly attend to its condition, more than you attend to the condition of your body. Know that it is easier to cure the body of the severest illness than to cure the soul of a sickness of a base passion prevailing over it. As King Solomon said, also from Proverbs 18:14, a man's spirit will bear his illness, but if the spirit is downcast, who will uplift it? And also he quotes from Proverbs 4:23, above all that you guard, watch over your heart. So, just going back to that previous statement from Proverbs 18:14, a man's spirit will bear his illness, but if the spirit is downcast, who will uplift it? It's very important. Like I said earlier, let's say, as a way of analogy, your neshama is actually like your guardian angel who looks after you, who once it has become a profound element within your body, actually instructs you on what you should do. Now, if you treat that element of yourself so badly that you make your soul ill, that's like, you've been granted a guardian angel, and you make it suffer and make it ill. Why would you ever do that? But that's what we do every day of our lives sometimes, or certain periods of our lives we do that. Also, Rambam, he talks about in his Hilchot Dayot that the sicknesses of the soul are exactly the same as the sicknesses of our physical bodies, and we have to, if we find ourselves soul sick, so to speak, we have to seek out the correct person or rabbi that can instruct us in the ways of purifying the soul again. And this is what Rabbi Bahya is doing in this book, is teaching us how to purify our inner life, and that's where the soul is. So that's a fascinating couple of segments, and next episode we're going to deal with the final number 30 out of 30 in this third chapter of self-accounting, contemplating man's plight as a stranger in this world. I look forward to that.